The Thunder are very good. The Pacers were not on Saturday night. A 21-point loss for the Pacers following up their hot offensive night. What went wrong? Did they do anything particularly well? The style clash was bad. The little things were all Thunder. And Jarace Walker keeps earning it. It's all coming today on the Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, y'all? Happy Sunday/weekend, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today, a tough one for the Pacers. Not unexpected completely. The Thunder are very good, but a not expected way of it happening. Every little thing went the Thunder's way. That's how they win. They're quite good at basically every part of basketball, but the Pacers could not keep up in any way. Every little way you could make up a difference in a game like this, they didn't have it, and they didn't get to a style that can work in a game like that. Lots to discuss from this one. Not a lot of it good for the Pacers. I actually thought they started okay, but the start of the game should have been more revealing for what was coming for the Pacers in this game. What I mean by that is right away, it was clear what was going to happen. The torture chamber was on Haliburton again, and very early, two Thunder defenders even showing to Haliburton, like first couple of minutes of the game. And the Pacers said, okay, we're ready for that. We have a plan for that. Andrew Nembhard's going to handle the ball. He's going to take it across the timeline. He's going to get us into our offense. That went okay. I thought Nembhard had a fine game as like the lead initiator, right? 16 points, 7 assists, only 1 turnover. Like that's kind of what you'd hope for from him. 6 for 13 from the field's fine. A couple of possessions, Pascal Siakam even is the guy taking it across half court, and not just in transition, like in general. They said, you got this, Pascal Siakam, you handle it. Like all that made sense to me. Then the Thunder went zone against the starters. That happens against the Pacers bench all the time. I've explained the reasonings for that. The shooting element's a big part of that. Against the starters is unheard of. Tyrese Haliburton hit 2 threes right over the top of it. It looked like the Pacers had their answers. They're up 21-11, and things felt great. Should have seen stuff like this coming. 11-0 Thunder run. Pacers had trouble keeping up. They had leads again, 1-point leads, 42-41 lead, like deep into the second quarter. They were finding ways to keep up. Then another run from the Thunder. This time, I believe it was 10-0. They had 2 10+0 runs, 2 runs that amounted to 21-0 in the first half. You'll never guess how many points the Thunder won by. Those little runs highlight everything that's hard about playing OKC. All of a sudden, they can just have a stretch where one little thing goes their way that you can't if you're playing against them. So in a game like this, where you have a talent disadvantage, I don't even mean to say the Pacers are like so much worse than the Thunder, but like the MVP is on the Thunder. I don't think he should be MVP. I think Jokic should be, but he's probably going to win. The MVP is on the Thunder. They have another all-star on their team. They have an first team, to me, all-defense guy in Lou Dort. I think he could win Defensive Player of the Year, but usually big men win it. They have some great depth, even without Chet Holmgren playing in this game. They had other guys out as well. They're really good. They made a ton of threes, all this stuff. You got to keep up at the little stuff to keep up. You can't have these moments where these runs happen. And to me, it was all that stood out for the Pacers. To beat a team like the Thunder, you have to take care of the ball. Win the possession battle, right? They're going to beat you per possession efficiency in a game. Turnovers, Pacers 11, that's fine. Thunder 9. That's tough. The Thunder are very good at forcing turnovers. I thought the Pacers did a pretty good job taking care of the ball, things considered, but they couldn't turn the Thunder over enough. Offensive rebounds, even in this game. So the Pacers do not win the possession battle. They take 7 fewer shots and 7 more free throws, probably 1 or 2 fewer possessions in total. You're not going to keep up that way. Okay, fine. Maybe if that's not going to work, you can win a lot of little stuff that like wears the opponent down, like points off turnovers. Nope. Thunder win that 10-7. Okay, that's fine. Maybe fast breaks. You can really get your tempo up and get moving. Nope. Thunder win that 15-7. How about second chance points, right? We know the offensive rebounds were even. What did these teams do with those chances? Second chance points. That was 12-6 Thunder. Like all these things that you could use as a springboard to keep up or to find extra ways into efficiency or extra possessions, they all went OKC's way. And they're good at these things. But on a night where they are lights out from deep and doing all this other stuff well, you're just screwed. You are just screwed. And that, to me, is what stood out about the Pacers in this game, is every time they had a punch that felt somewhat hard. Again, they were winning deep in the second quarter, only by 1, but still 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go till halftime. The Pacers were winning. The last 28 minutes, they got their butts kicked because the Thunder just slowly but surely stacked up these little victories. And the Pacers cut it to 10 or 9 in the third quarter and kept it close enough to make you feel like they had a chance. As soon as it became a depth thing, I don't even think the Pacers bench was terrible in this game. As soon as subs were made middle of the third, it was over. Thunder roared up. They're up 20 by the end of the fourth. And it just shows you how good they are. Right? It's so boring to have this as a takeaway. I thought forever at my head. I watched the game. I'm going through my notes man, what do I have as my big takeaway for the Pacers in this game? What did they do so wrong? And there are some things they did wrong that I want to talk about. But what did they do so wrong that they have to clean this up if they want to win XYZ game or if they want to beat the Thunder again? I truly think the answer is the Thunder are really good and made a bunch of threes, and you just can't win in a game like that. The little stuff all has to go your way if that's how the game goes, and none of it went the Pacers' way. It all went the Thunder's way. The Thunder in this game, I tweeted this out. Many of you have already seen this stat probably. Thank you, Shane Young, for putting this together. The Thunder in this game got their 48th win this season by double digits. The Pacers have 43 wins total. The Thunder are that good. Their point differential is going to be top 10 all time. They're amazing. 48 wins by double digits is better than every other team in the West in wins. It would be third in the East. They're amazing. So you have to do something exceptionally well. You have to shoot it really well. You have to have a style advantage. That's what the Pacers did the last time they played them. They defended pretty well and had a style advantage. They were up in the fourth quarter. You have to do something. They did nothing at that level in this game. And I'm not even going to kill them for it because the Thunder are that good. The Thunder shot it very well. Lou Dort, 6 for 7 from deep. Isaiah Joe, 5 for 7 from deep. Isaiah Joe's a very good shooter. Lou Dort's a pretty good shooter. When they combine for 11 for 14, you're screwed. Those two plus Shai made as many threes as the Pacers in this game. 47.2% from three for the Thunder. You will never guess their record when they shoot that well from deep. It is 8-0. 8-0. They don't lose. In fact, when the Thunder shoot 41% or better from deep this season, they are now 22-1. That's it. That's it. What are you supposed to do as the Pacers? Either match them in shooting. They just made 27 threes 2 days ago. Maybe they could have done it. That's in jest. Or you win a bunch of little things. You dominate the paint. You get a bunch of offensive rebounds. You keep your turnovers down. You find a way to get your style enforced on the game. And slowly but surely, you can keep up the points you're bleeding from the three-point line. They couldn't do any of those things. They lost all those things in this game. So Thunder deserve a lot of credit for being awesome, but the poor Pacers just had no chance when they shot it that well. Other stuff to me that stood out as problematic for the Pacers. They could not get rolling in the paint, right? They shot it well from three in the first quarter, and that felt like, okay, maybe this is going to go well. But it should have been a sign that they shot it well from three in the first quarter. I think they made 6 threes in the first quarter, and they only had 27 points, and they were losing. And I mean that to say they needed to get going inside the arc, and they just totally couldn't, right? As involved as Nembhard was and Siakam was, and it was going okay, they needed one of those two guys to really be juicing things up, getting guys moving, getting to the rim, whatever. And they had a lot of 6 or 7 out of 10 offensive stretches, and they needed them to be 9 or 10 out of 10 offensive stretches. They could not get into the paint. And that culminated with 40 points in the paint for the Pacers. Again, another stat that you just won't win with 40 points in the paint. We can look at that for the Pacers. This was only their, I can't count very fast, 8th time this season at 40 points in the paint or fewer, right? That's rare. That's a very poor night for them this season. Now on the year, when they're below when they're below 48 points in the paint, they're 8-15 now after this game. Right? You got to get some. That's part of why the Pacers have such a high effective field goal percentage. They're good at either getting into the paint or getting someone who has a matchup advantage into the paint. They couldn't do that in this game at all. And some of that's on them, right? They couldn't get there. Some of that is on their finishing. I tweeted this at one point. They were 50% on shots inside 4 feet, well into the third quarter. They weren't making the good attempts they gave themselves. They did recover in that late in the third. They got up to 63%. They still missed 10 shots 4 feet and in. The problem is if they made all of them, they still would have lost the game. So they were not finishing well when they got into the paint, and they weren't using those paint touches to get the ball moving, get the offense. 27 assists is fine, but not exactly what you think of when you think of the Pacers or a good night from the Pacers. And so that was something that was hurting them. And I thought OKC's defense was the biggest factor in that. Their defense is very good at deterring you at the rim and preventing you from getting there in the first place, right? Zone against the starters. Pacers went 3 for 11 on twos in the first quarter. That zone was very good. You got to shoot over it. That won't cut it. You got to be better inside the arc. Their 3 went away in the second quarter, and they were toast. They couldn't score. They kept up for a bit. Their defense faded. They were done. They were just done. Like a game like this, it's really hard to play TJ McConnell unless he's knocking down everything. Fortunately for the Pacers, he was. He went 4 for 6. He made his first 3 shots. He had 2 turnovers early that were tough. But like this is the kind of game where it's tough to get him out there unless he's making everything. And he did a great job with that. But then the rim defense steps up, so it's harder for him to get that shot going. Your transition's not there. What can the Pacers do stylistically in that kind of game? They're not shooting well. They can't get to the paint when they do. They can't finish. When they do finish, they're not passing enough to like look like the Pacers. No one felt exceptional offensively. Again, TJ McConnell made his shots. Obi Toppin looked pretty good. He made his shots. Nobody felt so threatening at any point in this game. And the Thunder were reactive proactively. What I mean by that is all the stuff that teams usually do to throw the Pacers off comes as a result of the way the Pacers are playing. Haliburton gets going, teams send 2 to him. Thunder did it right away. Pacers doing well to get into the paint, teams go zone, Thunder did it right away. All the stuff that counters what the Pacers do well, the Thunder sat in it early. And maybe teams could think of that as something you do. That's not typically a way a team plays, and most teams can beat it if they see it early or know it's coming. But in a game like this, a regular season game, 3rd and 4 nights for the Pacers, the Thunder were making everything, setting their defense, playing really good basketball. Shai was awesome. That proactive defense made it hard for the Pacers to get in the paint. So much about this game was just the Thunder dominating every little freaking thing that happened, and the Pacers not being able to respond. They were in it for long enough that it felt like maybe they had a shot. Great defensive second half. Maybe their 3 start dropping. There are a lot of ways it could change, but once the runs happened, they were dead. Once the 3 stopped falling, they were dead. And once Shai and J-Dub got rolling, it was over. So credit the Pacers for the first 20 minutes. They were winning. Made me think, maybe. No, didn't happen. They could have clinched top 7 with this one. They will wait another day. We'll do standings watch tomorrow. A couple other things I want to get to from this game. Some more Jarace Walker earning it a little bit on these Thunder runs. A couple little shout outs here and there. So much more coming on today's Locked On Pacers. Before we get to any of that, let's talk about 5-Hour Energy. Daylight savings snuck up on all of us. If you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, even these weeks later like me, 5-Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late, watching the tournament, squeezing in around a golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5-Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. Basketball is madness this time of year. Poor Purdue, so close. You're staying up late watching that game like I did. All the tournament action, 5-Hour Energy helps you be ready to go the next day. Longer days. Everybody loves getting outside for like hikes and runs, things of the tropical burst is your go-to for a quick boost during those moments. Whether you're at a game, traveling, 5-Hour Energy is easy to grab and keeps you feeling refreshed. Head to 5hourenergy.com. Find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5-Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They are everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized. Back here on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making us your first listen today and every single day. Your second listen needs to be Locked On Thunder. Rylan Stiles will break down 62-win Thunder. Man, are they good. They could win 70. If they win their last 8 games, they will win 70 games. I don't think they'll do that, but they could do it, which is crazy. They're really good. I don't think people realize how good they are. I think they're the title favorite. I understand that might not be a popular opinion, but that's okay. Really, really good team. Pacers were overwhelmed. The runs were so killer. I know I talked about them as like these little thing moments, but they just happened so fast, right? The Pacers were up 10 and then an 11-0 OKC run, just doing what they do. And it didn't feel fast in the moment. It felt like a slow bleed. Then you look back at the scoreboard and you're like, how fast did that happen? Right? It took the Pacers forever to get up 10. It took them 7 minutes. They're up 21-11, right? Then they were down less than 3 minutes later. It was 22-21 with 2:17 to go. They got their 10-point lead with 5:04 to go, right? It just happened so fast. If you're not ready, OKC will just run it down your throat, hit some threes, get the ball movement, get some stops, and you're toast. The Pacers led 42-41. All's hunky-dory. There's 4.5 minutes to go till halftime. It's basically with 20 minutes of play. The Pacers are keeping up. That's great. all of a sudden, it's 51-42. 2 minutes and 28 seconds to go till halftime. That took less than 3 minutes. They just come at you so fast with these runs, and it's so tough. One of them, I believe it was the first quarter run, was without Shai on the floor. Right? That just kills you. The second quarter run, Shai was out there. He was amazing in this game. I'm not going to fault the Pacers for not stopping him. No one's been able to stop him in the league this year. And he was in for part of the first run, but not all of it. I mean, it's just insane how good of a basketball player he is. Pacers tried. He just is a monster. There's no one you can put on him to stop him. There's no style. Everybody talks about the free throw stuff like he's clearly getting fouled. I watched the game. Really, really good player. But you get 22 from Dort. 18 of those come from three. You get 19 from Isaiah Joe. 15 of those come from three. J-Dub was awesome in the minutes without Shai. Pacers did a lot okay to well in this game. That wasn't there. Rick Carlisle stating afterwards, something I already talked about. He didn't love the transition defense or the early possession defense for the Pacers, right? In general, their half-court defense was good, like if they got deep into possessions, but the rest of it, clearly the Thunder were playing the style that they wanted, and the Pacers couldn't get those stops. So you can't have a rim offense that non-existent. You can't have a bunch of 6 and 7 out of 10 stretches. You got to be great. You got to play your style. You got to score at the basket. You got to be paint to great if you're the Pacers to beat the Thunder. They did not do any of those things, and that is their first double-digit loss in about 3 weeks for the Pacers since the Bulls ran them off the floor in Chicago. I want to talk about Jarace Walker. First, I want to finally remember to say something I put in my notes ages ago. The Pacers' last home game. Somebody walked up to me and said, "It's my 40th birthday. Can I get a picture?" I said, "Yes." Mike, if you're listening, happy 40th birthday. I'm so sorry I forgot this deep in. Okay, let's talk about Jarace Walker, who again gets rotation minutes. This game was the one I was the most curious about when it came to that and it being a permanent decision from the Pacers, right? The Lakers game happens Wednesday. Ben Shepherd missed shots again. I cannot keep doing the doesn't make mistakes thing when he missed as many shots as he did. It makes sense why they finally made the change, even though I was on the other side of that debate for the whole time. I get why they did it. Jarace played pretty well against the Lakers outside of the play that will be seared into everyone's minds from that game for all time. Right before that was one of his best defensive plays ever. He made a huge three in that fourth quarter. He played pretty well. So then they play the next day in DC. And you could have made the case it's one day of a switch. They're rewarding Jarace for good play. Maybe they're giving Ben Shepherd a night to rest. And hey, Ben Shepherd was okay. He made 2 threes in that game. Maybe that was a one game off thing. We'll see where this goes. Now, this game is not perfect because Ben Mathurin didn't play. I think it was very clear, though, that even without Mathurin playing, it was obvious that they used the same rotation tonight against OKC, just with Shepherd and Mathurin's spot largely, that they did in DC. Jarace came in where Shepherd used to come in. Jarace played in that same group that I thought was very fascinating against the Wizards. I'll talk about it in a second. And Jarace played pretty well again. Shepherd, again, did play. He made 2 threes in this game. He missed 4 of them. But that was because of Mathurin's injury. I think that this is, as it stands, if Jarace Walker keeps playing relatively well and does not have effort wax and wanes, so far so good on that front, because that was an issue for him in March when he would get his limited spot minutes, that this is his spot now to lose. That he is in the Pacers rotation right now. We'll see come playoff time. Not going to guess that right now. Alex Golden and I talked about that earlier this week, and neither of us think that they'll go to one of those young guys. We'll see. But Jarace has earned this, first of all. He's been playing better. Everybody thinks the perception of these players is the opposite of this. I think Shepherd's the better defender and Walker's the better offensive player. But Shepherd's offense fell so far when he was missing shots that the defensive gap was actually smaller than the offensive gap. So it makes sense to play Walker in that way. And he keeps playing pretty well. So first of all, they did it again. So I think this is a choice they're making intentionally. I like what they're doing with the sub pattern late in the first quarter. So when Jarace comes in, he's playing the 3 instead of the 4, and it's him with Top and Turner at first, and then it's Top and Siakam. So they're stealing some centerless minutes. I think part of that is to help Myles Turner's playing time. Only 20 minutes in this game for Myles Turner, who's actually playing pretty well inside the arc. 10 free throw attempts for Myles Turner in this game. Only 1 3. So that feels intentional. Then so far, both games, they brought in Thomas Bryant to start the second quarter as the 5-man with those groups. So 1, that's good. And 2, Walker is playing. And he's playing pretty well. And so it gives them size in those stretches without a center. So come playoff time, perhaps they just lean on that instead of playing Thomas Bryant as their way to have no Myles Turner minutes. I think matchup dependent, you might still see Thomas Bryant for 5 to 10 minutes every playoff night, but I would imagine that that's not like their priority is getting him out there. And those big lineups have been, I think, at least moderately effective. They're especially defensively. Carlisle loves to talk about skilled size being the direction of the NBA. And when Jarace is playing well, which is not always the case, which is why he was the guy that lost playing time, he gives you that. And he did that again in this game. So this game makes it seem more permanent to me. I think most people already felt that way. This game specifically makes me think, okay, we're going to ride with Jarace as guy number, whatever you want to call this, 9 right now, maybe 10. And they're doing this big group second unit thing late in the first and third quarters. 2, Jarace keeps playing pretty well, right? That's what he needed to do. Late in the Lakers game, he was given a chance. They put him in over Shepherd. If he played well, he might have had a chance. He did it. In DC, he played quite well, right? Made shots, played, I think, the most minutes of any Pacer. In this one, 26-43 for Jarace Walker, the most of any bench player. He played more than Nesmith. He played more than Turner. 3 for 8 from the field. So he went 1 for 3 on his twos, but he made 2 threes. He made both of his foul shots, 4 boards. That's what they talked about with him, with his physicality and power. 4 assists. The ball movement is there. I think Carlisle said, and I think maybe I've been guilty of this, that it's a little overrated, the whole he played point guard in high school thing, but his handle and ball movement's still decent. Only 1 turnover. He had a steal, 10 points, right? Like, that's the kind of games he's got to keep putting out to keep playing. And he's been doing a good job of that this last week. Now, it's always been consistency with him. Like his appearance before the Lakers game, I can't remember what it was. It was like real minutes, right? Like twice. I think it was Minnesota. Just didn't get back in transition, right? Like, can't happen. He got pulled. If the effort stays and the physicality stays, he has played well enough to keep his spot in the rotation. And I like the way they're handling it. I did not even think of that as an idea, to go Jarace, Toppin, Siakam, right? They very rarely do that. In this game, at other times, they went Walker, Toppin with no other bigs on the floor. That's super rare. You've been listening for a long time this season. You remember me talking about how rare that was, like forever ago. But I like the way they're handling that, especially after telling Jarace to get better at skills that would let him play the 3 before the season, to the extent that that's that much different than the 4. I like that rotation. I like the way he's playing. That's the important part. If the defensive effort stays, right? He had a nice defensive reach around for his steal in this game, which is not always good. Sometimes he does that when he's beat. This one, it was like a legitimately good defensive play. If he keeps playing well on defense, I think he'll keep playing, even if the shot doesn't stick or if he doesn't make offensive plays. So far, so good for Jarace Walker. I like this change from the Pacers, given how Ben Shepherd was playing. I'm going to have to hold the L on my forehead for that, right? I've been saying Ben Shepherd should play. I think his defense is good, but he made nothing. His shooting in this month was dreadful for so long that it just couldn't be ignored anymore. So I get why they've done what they've done. I've talked about it too many times now, but you get the gist. I think this is what they're doing now. Other than that, not a ton of takeaways from this game. I thought about entering or leaving this game with a, man, is Aaron Nesmith playing well thing. He had another awesome 2-pointer in this game. He actually made 2 twos, but he only finished with 7 points. That I'll save that for maybe tomorrow. Siakam's been on like a not awesome stretch of games. I think everybody still believes that he's a very good player, and his consistency's been incredible this season. But 14 against Minnesota, 37.5%. And then he had 15 and 13, albeit efficiently, versus LA and then DC. And then 4 for 11 in this one with 11 points. So 4 straight games at 15 or fewer points for Siakam, with in 3 of them over 10 shot attempts. So he had the Brooklyn game where he was very uninvolved, then super involved in the win over Brooklyn. He was a massive part of their win there. And then 4 kind of pedestrian for him games in a row. Who knows what the reasoning is? The shot attempts are there. Maybe he's just not making them. Maybe this is the grind of a season. He's only missed 1 game since being traded to the Pacers a year ago. I don't know. If this continues for maybe 2 or 3 more games, this will merit a full segment of what's going on with Siakam. He has not been bad, but he's not been quite at the level that he's rightfully shown everybody to become accustomed to. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about Aaron Nesmith and his very good play since the All-Star break. We're going to talk about standings watch. Lots of interesting stuff happened. Knicks-Bucks game happened last week. The Pacers won twice. Some other losses matter to them. Their range of outcomes is becoming almost perfectly clear. There's not very many games left. And one other segment that if you propose me something interesting on social media, maybe I'll talk about it. If not, I always, as usual, will come up with something. Thank you guys for listening on this weekend. Hope you're enjoying March Madness. If you're a Purdue fan, push-offs, ban push-offs. It's a problem in the NBA too. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Tony R. East. This podcast is a Twitter account at Locked On Pacers. We're on Instagram now too learning how that works. Locked On Pacers there as well. Some graphics, some babbling from me. Thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. We'll see you on Monday.